The famous story of Zheng Yi Sao, the prostitute who became the world's most powerful pirate, sounds empowering, but that narrative isn't history. It's classism, faux feminism, and Orientalism working together. Let's take it apart. First, classism. The only pre-modern text that calls Zheng Yi Sao a Cantonese prostitute, Yue Ji, was from a Qing county gazetteer, a moralizing document, not a biography. An elite prejudice in Guangdong against the Tanka people was so strong that Qing scholars were routinely quoted as saying, 俗云但家妇皆娼. This wasn't describing sex work. It was an ethnic slur aimed at the Tanka community, which was seen as low class, boat-born, and outside of the Confucian norm. So Yue Ji doesn't tell us what Zheng Yi Sao did. It tells us how the state wants her to be remembered. And here's what matters. None of the 1800 Chinese or Western records of that time said anything about prostitution. Not Newman's 1831 History of the Pirates, not Glasspole's 1809 Eyewitness Narrative, not the 1842 Pirate's Own Book. All of them call her Zheng Yi Sao, a wife of Qing Yi, or simply the leader of the Red Flag Fleet. Never a prostitute. And someone who knows people from the Tanka community told me that the elders never heard of her as being a prostitute. So it's not in family lore, it's not in community memory, not in local stories passed through generations. The 1800s records didn't say it, the pirates didn't say it, the eyewitnesses didn't say it, and even the boat people themselves didn't say it. So where did it come from? A 1980s academic thesis written by a Western scholar 150 years later, which took that one single Qing dynasty mention of her being a Yue Ji, a classist slur, and mistranslated it as prostitute. And modern feminist retelling repeated it as if it was empowering. She was a prostitute who became a pirate queen, girl boss. But this isn't empowerment. This is the same classist slur recycled in feminist packaging, a slur turned into a slogan. This is why context matters. Cultural, linguistic, and social. When you remove all these layers, a slur becomes a story. A misunderstanding becomes a myth. And finally, Orientalism. Western media has long sexualized Asian women who are powerful into this dragon lady stereotype. Dangerous, erotic, exotic. Look at Anime Wong, always trapped in stereotypical roles. So when Western writers look at Zheng Yi Sao, they didn't see a strategist or a negotiator. They saw what they already recognized. A seductive pirate queen, known for her pillow talks, a woman whose power came from sex. Evidence doesn't matter. Nobody bothered looking into the primary sources. So the prostitute pirate queen myth wasn't empowering. It was a perfect storm of Qing classicism, Western faux feminism, and Orientalist fantasy. To call Zheng Yi Sao a pillow talker isn't only wrong, it erases her triumph. She comes from a community that historically has been marginalized by the Chinese society. They couldn't own land, they couldn't go for exams that allows them to rise through the social classes, and at one point they couldn't even be buried on land. Her rise is a story of intelligence and resistance, not seduction. History deserves better. Asian women deserves better. Zheng Yi Sao deserves better. She led 60,000 men, negotiated with the empire, and walked away undefeated. Yet, the world decided that she must have been a prostitute, not because evidence said so, but because classism, feminism, and Orientalism needed her to be. This is why context matters: cultural, linguistic, and social.